During an interview on CNN this week, Republican Senate candidate Kari Lake got into it with CNN anchor Kaitlan Collins, all because Kaitlan Collins did what interviewers are supposed to do and, asked her a question. But it was a question that absolutely sent Kari Lake over the edge to where she started giving Kaitlan Collins pointers on how to do interviews, which of course did not sit well with Kaitlan Collins. But here is how that exchange took place. It all started when Kaitlan Collins was bringing up Kari Lake refusing to acknowledge that she lost the 2022 gubernatorial election in Arizona. And she said, quote, "So you're not going to say whether or not you lost the 2022 race? Is that what I'm hearing?" And at that point, which this is just the beginning, Lake was already pissed off. So Kari Lake responds and she says, "Well, I want to make sure our elections are run properly, and I'm still in litigation, so I don't want to speak to that. But I do want to look forward." And it's so funny that the media, Kaitlan, hold up, the media can't get over it. You say I can't get over it, and it looks like you can't. And then Collins said, "I don't think I said that. I just said, have you conceded the race? And I know you mentioned your litigation. You filed multiple lawsuits. Have any of those lawsuits been successful?" I love that. Because Kaitlan Collins knows that Kari Lake has lost every single lawsuit that she's filed, but for some reason, the courts keep letting her do it. So Kaitlan Collins is like, "Hey, you know what? If you're going to be this way to me, I'm going to be this way to you. I'm going to fight fire with fire. Have any of those lawsuits been successful, Kari?" And Kari responded, she goes, "Hold up, Kaitlan. We've had 10 questions probably, and you've had all of them being about elections or abortion. And while those are big issues, I care about them. You've asked 0 questions about inflation and the cost of living. In Arizona, we can't afford to live anymore. We have the fastest growing rent prices in the country in 3 of our cities. So we can't even afford to live. If you're in Arizona, you no longer can afford to live. Not live in Arizona. You can't live anymore," Kari Lake says. And then Kaitlan Collins goes, "So you're not going to answer the question about whether or not you lost the election?" And Lake says, "I'm actually thinking you meant to ask me about the issues that people cared about. And people care about our wide open border. They care that 21 million people have poured into your city, to my city, all across this country." That is not even close to the real number, by the way. It's in the single digit millions still, but definitely not 21. I think it's 3. Then Collins says, "Do you think people care if you're willing to accept the results of an election that was free and fair and that you followed multiple lawsuits that have not gone anywhere? And I should note a defamation lawsuit that was filed against you. You did not contest it from a top Arizona election official that says you lied about him repeatedly." And then Kari Lake smugly responded, "Well, I think what you meant to ask is, Kari, things are really tough right now." Collins says, "With all due respect, I'm conducting this interview, but you're not answering those questions. And if that's your answer, that's fine." That's how you do it. I love every bit of that. It is one thing, I don't think she lost her composure, Kaitlan Collins, but I will say, even if she did, it's understandable. Because you're sitting there being told by the person you're interviewing how to conduct an interview. She's not answering your questions, which is a big issue that you're talking about. Like, hey, you've been whining and pissing and moaning about the 2022 election for 2 straight years. You're saying I'm obsessed with it, but I'm asking you because you won't shut the hell up about it. You became a household name by whining about losing, Kari. So Kaitlan Collins called you out for that. She called you out for the defamation lawsuit. And Kari Lake didn't know how to handle it, and all she could do was become combative and, a little bit unhinged because she's not used to having any kind of pushback because mostly she does the friendly little interviews. But that's not helping her campaign. Going ballistic on Kaitlan Collins isn't going to help her campaign. And I think it's pretty safe at this point that Ruben Gallego is going to be the next senator from the great state of Arizona. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.